That's a good. Yeah, we need we need a clown or something.
Mr. Nathan just left.
You started the recording already, right?
Okay. All right, excellent. We'll keep that one in.
As you all know, a core part of the Foam News Collective mission statement is to create as much drama in the hobby as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we capture every single opportunity to do that. Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the Foam News Collective podcast. I'm KT. I'm here with my co-host Grim. How are you doing, Grim?
I'm doing good. A little tired, running on caffeine and a dream, and we're still working out the kinks from the 3D in the flesh RTX model from 2D transition, but we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
We'll get there. I'm excited to see your outfit tomorrow. I'm excited to see how everything comes together. It's going to be sick. This brain tag is going to make a lot of noise.
This one's all tangled up in my gear, so that'll be a little hard to remove.
We're also here with the best guest host, a room full of our very best friends. Say what's up, everybody. This is our first ever live taping of the Foam News Collective podcast, and I want to be sure to thank the whole Ragfest crew. Casual Felon over here handling the recording. Thank you so much. Fish, who set up all of our video stuff. J-Mom, Pandemonium, and the whole crew. And of course, Xbox Games for sponsoring this room and adding this whole feature of the event. I think that's really exciting to have this sort of panel discussion context. I don't think any other event is really doing that yet at this point. So soak it up.
Yeah.
Soak it up. Enjoy it.
Hopefully, maybe soon TM elsewhere. But
yes.
For now, just here.
Yeah.
Just here for now.
I'd love to see that. We talked about doing it at Mayhem with Vile, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I remember that discussion.
Yeah. But, of course, we are here with a very, very special guest, which everyone in the room is awkwardly sitting here watching because sit at the other table. Addy of FoamBlast and the host of This Week in Nerf. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm in person.
I know. Isn't it wild?
This doesn't happen often anymore.
Yeah.
Been a little bit of a minute.
It has, and we just met, but I'm excited to get to know you better in front of a bunch of other people, because that's just kind of how this works.
Everyone knows that's the most natural way to get to know someone.
Is to get in front of a bunch of mics, sit in front of an audience full of people, and ask questions about your casual work history. Here we are at Ragnarocktoberfest 2024. How's it been for you so far? We're just kind of it's funny because it's we haven't done most of the stuff that makes Ragfest, and a lot of people only got here at 2:00 today, but it's already kind of cool to see the community come together and gel again and start to hang out. How's it been for you so far, Addy?
It's so weird that it just started because I feel like I've done so much. There's 5v5 practice this morning where I just crony my blasters and watched people. And then when I got here, I didn't even go on the expo floor yet because I've been croning people's blasters. But it felt like so much because I was just talking to so many people and seeing so many cool blasters, some that I still haven't, I hadn't heard of before because I have not been as keenly aware of what's going on in the hobby as I used to be.
What's the last event you were at?
Not counting 5v5 practices, last Rag, I think.
Oh, wow. That would have been 2019. Ish?
There was one last year.
We had one last year.
Wait, no.
It was
last year.
Brain,
pirate
not
themed.
braining.
No, it's fine. It does that. Well, how is it? How are you doing so far, Grim?
It's been a long journey for me. I've been basically in rag mode for about the past week-ish. I flew out to Seattle to help SFI with their scared stuff.
Which you're rocking right now.
Yeah, I'm wearing some of it. It was a lot. So many packages. So much. lot of exhaustion, a lot of lack of sleep, being up till 4 a.m. And then we got here Thursday. We left Seattle at 2 in the morning and then had a 16-hour drive almost immediately thereafter, after we checked in, we then had KBBQ with the Singaporeans and KT.
Oh,
and then after that, I wasn't able to fall
good.
asleep until about 5 a.m. And then I woke up at around 9 or 10 this morning. And then it was just immediately to the SFI booth to help volunteer.
Who in the room identifies with that kind of travel schedule right now, right? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
The sleep deprivation will continue throughout the weekend.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, it's not a Nerf event if you aren't a little sleep deprived, running on caffeine, and you haven't built your primary the day before.
God.
Gotta get on it.
Who expects to have more sleep tonight than last night? Who expects to have less sleep tonight than last night?
Me.
Like
my primary isn't even built, and there may be some problems and hiccups with it. So,
that'll take some time. Well, luckily you have some high class.
I have
helpers.
I have like the best people I could be with for that kind of scenario.
So true. Well, I'm excited for Stalking Dead tomorrow. I'm excited to be live casting the competitive event with Casual Felon on Sunday. I had to think about that for a second. I was like, what day is it? Oh, right. But for now, we get to chat with Addy about, we'll start with This Week in Nerf, even though I know FoamBlast is the older part of that, but we'll get to that part later. Because I'm really excited about an opportunity to sort of like trade notes with you about this, because I think we definitely drew a lot of inspiration from This Week in Nerf when we started doing the show. Initially, as most of you, as I'm sure you all know, we were called the Provisional Nerf News Network, and the idea behind that was we didn't know if Twin was going to come back, and we didn't want to take up the space and like not like make it feel like you couldn't come back because it was another show. It was like, no, we're just doing this until, and then FoamBlast closed, and we're like, okay, seems like it's not coming back. So that was a big inspiration for the name change. Casual, would you, when anyone that just came in, make sure you get a raffle ticket, because we're going to be doing a giveaway when the, thank you. We're going to be doing a giveaway when the trivia comes up. I'm pretty excited about the trivia questions.
I'm so nervous about the trivia questions. You have no idea.
But that was a good save. That was good.
Yes.
But so you hosted This Week in Nerf from January of 2019 till June 2022, right?
I'm so glad you have the dates written down, because they're probably correct.
Okay, good.
I mean, we do a lot of this background research beforehand. We at least try to.
I try to.
Try to.
Total of 140 episodes.
I didn't know it was that many.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
I mean, thinking back, that makes sense.
Jang did like I don't think he reached 100, or maybe he went over 100. He had a similar reign of years, but I don't remember.
I'm not 100%. I did not check Jangular's numbers.
I have been watching since
version.
Jangular's though. I just can't quite remember the number, but your number for Twin sounds correct.
Yeah, 140 initially weekly, but eventually moving to 2 weeks. When we started, we saw that and we were like, yeah, we're just doing every other week.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I'm glad, because it started out as an idea, and then it kind of evolved into more and more what would it take to make this a realistic project. So we took like basically half a year from conception to actualization of just like slowly piecing together what we were going to do, which is how we were able to come out the gate with like all the graphics, all the music, all the like, we have a Discord with this many people already contributing and this, that, and the other. We took our time with it.
And so I'm curious, when you took it over from Jangular, I was watching the first episode, and you thought it was going to be temporary, the same way we did when we started. And so I'm curious, like, how long was it until you felt like you took ownership of it? And like, did you feel like limited to change the format? Because it evolved quite a bit over the time, like not even including stuff like the intro music, which is adorable, and all this stuff. How long did that take to feel like you really like owned it?
So there was an episode, I think it was like 20 or 30 episodes in. We were traveling, and we were still doing it every week. Even when we were traveling, we would film while we were like in J-Mom's basement, which is a lot to, travel, drive over the mountains to go to a game and just have an extra bag of camera gear and microphones and editing equipment. And we brought our lights because it was a whole thing. Yeah. But we're
here's the game box and here's the video box.
Exactly.
And you got it, yeah.
It's too much. But we went to, I don't remember if it was 5v5 or like a boss game. And we had Jangular do the outro for us because he happened to be there. And he said that he was going to leave it in our capable hands. And I was like, oh no.
Oh boy, those are the big words. Those are the big words.
This is mine now, and he's not taking it back.
Oh my God.
So I think at that point is when we felt like, okay, so we can change this to be what we need it to be, because I guess we're not a placeholder anymore.
Right. Well, the change to 2 weeks I know happened kind of later. Do you remember, like, what are the kind of the first things that you were like, okay, this is change. If it's ours, like, we're changing this, and like because I also noticed that and I guess this was a carryover from Jangular. Initially, there was a video of the week.
Yeah, we used to have a video of the week.
Right.
So the thing about video of the week is there's not always a good video every week. Like that, honestly, that's what it is. Because it always, not always, a lot, like about half the time there was a like really good video that I was really excited to share. And those kind of videos often made it to news segments. So it didn't make sense to pick something else like just to show if it wasn't like actually exciting.
Yeah.
Because like I mean I don't think that anything that we like showed on that segment was like bad. It's just I don't know. It's just not that exciting a lot of the time. Whereas like the mods, there's always something cool going on.
Right.
And like it's not always like some crazy integration that took somebody, years to finish. Sometimes it's something small, but it's just as like exciting, and it makes me happy to see people doing mods and stuff. So like that's why mod of the week definitely stayed, and video of the week became a segment when it was good enough to be a segment and was kept out the rest of the time.
I think we really identify with that struggle.
Yeah. there was a whole lot of different things, because we first started out with Jolt's mod spotlight, and then Jolt left, and then it was kind of like, all right, we can't necessarily keep this going. What should we do? Then we did like some kind of trial run kind of thing that didn't go too well.
There were weeks that like it was a struggle even to find like a mod. It was just like, it was like if it's finals week, anybody that's in school is not finishing mods right now until like nothing's really getting posted and published.
Yeah, and like that's why a lot of the time our mod of the week was a little bit flexible. Like there was one week where I picked a bucket. Like someone made a battle bucket, and they like had all these organizers and stuff inside of this Home Depot bucket for taking to wars, and so they had their stuff all like nicely laid out, and they're really like, fun. It's also a seat. That's so fun. And I loved it. So like that made mod of the week one of the times.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, because we eventually pivoted to like the community crosshairs idea was trying to solve that.
Yeah.
Now we can feature anything that we think is cool and just wouldn't be a news segment that we can. And so there's usually a mod. Sometimes it's a video. We can also do nothing if we're just like behind or like can't find enough things. But
it's just like the perfect flexible segment, because the guest host, if they would like to pick something, can pick something. The host can pick something if they want to. Fits our mission statement by propping up the hobby, because it specifically has to be something that hasn't been seen as much past a certain extent. Damn seagulls.
We have guests.
Yeah, I guess we have more guests. Anyways, we kind of have a vague-ish time restraint of it being about a month old is about the max.
Right.
We're willing to go a little past that. But it gives us a little bit more leeway, so that way we can pick something that necessarily wasn't done that week. And say, for example, a guest host isn't feeling the greatest. We have a time limit. Someone isn't doing well mentally, because doing a show every other week is still a drain. We can just skip it if we need to. And it's very helpful.
I think that's the same kind of that was how we tried to answer that feeling, because I feel that. I really, really feel that.
Yeah, because like you should be excited about the things that you talk about. If you're not excited talking about it, like why should anyone listen?
Yeah. How much did that impact? How did you decide? Let me start that question again. What was your process for determining what you were going to cover, and like what you were going to cover as like a rapid strike as opposed to a full segment?
A lot of it was my enthusiasm about the topic, just because, like, if I'm not like, whoa, this is really cool, it's pretty obvious I'm not a great actor. But I think that there's a lot of things that it's just like, I think it's important for the community to know about, but
Yes.
I really don't have more than 2 sentences to say
Right.
with any like
That's so
useful
funny that you
information
say,
to go with
That's so funny
it.
you say 2 sentences, because that's my literal limit. Grim knows that's my rule for our half-length. The rapid strikes answer is like 2 sentences. That is the limit.
I'm a guilty offender of accidentally going over the 2-sentence limit. KT usually condenses. I'm rather verbose, is how we'll put it. I word vomit my scripts, and then he makes them more digestible, more understandable, more comprehensible usually.
Yeah, but it was just funny for you to say 2 sentences. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, I think that kind of segues into something that like kind of how Michelle and I work together on stuff, because she knows so much more about like the technical side of like Nerf modding and stuff, and like how motors work, how batteries work, all of that stuff. So when we script videos, a lot of the time she would do it first with like all of the information and teach me, and then I would cut it down and be like, this is too much, we should simplify this now that I understand what's going on.
Right.
And I that's more of like the FoamBlast educational video kind of thing, but that transferred to the news a little bit too, because yeah,
It's so important to have more than one person involved, to have people to bounce things back and forth with.
Yeah, that I would definitely say that's been our like key takeaway from the experiences. This wouldn't be feasible without like the 3 of us minimum, probably. And also lots of spreadsheets and Google Documents. The number one tool.
If we were hoping to have a projector today, I would have shown you all the meme I've been showing people, which is the spaceman with the gun, and the one with the gun is me explaining to the other one. The Earth has the FNC logo, and they're saying, "Wait, it's just all spreadsheets." Always has been.
Always has been.
The whole show is just all spreadsheets.
So many spreadsheets.
I imagine it was a similar experience for you.
Yeah, we had our spreadsheet too. We ended up setting up a Discord at some point and had people submit stories, because I was what was burning me out the most was being on Facebook and Reddit, which if you're going to do the news, you have to like look at the places that news are. And I hated looking at those places anymore, so I didn't want to.
Feel that too.
So getting people to like make submissions to the Discord, and then that would go on the spreadsheet, and then I'd mark like, ooh, this is really exciting, green. Maybe we'll get to this. Or if something was like something that we found unhelpful to the hobby, red.
Right.
Not talking about that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Ours is a little bit more, how should I say? It's still passionate about the thing, but not as much personal feelings involved. It's kind of it has to fit the mission statement, has to be helpful to the hobby. If we feel it's too dangerous to talk about, or it just can't be as explained, as nuanced as it needs to be, it can be left in the Discord, but it can't necessarily make it to a segment.
Or YouTube will just
Or
flag
YouTube,
it.
yep. So we do stuff that way. So like, say for example, the Blaster, it's like literally a P90 or something. We're like,
There's been a
we're
few
not
things
we're
like
not
that.
covering that. So basically, we have the spreadsheet that has main segments, and then it's divided up into 3 categories. Stuff will go into the categories of what type of segment it is, and then we have a half-length section, and then we have the community crosshairs. And then we used to flag them as red, green, or orange, and that was how likely we thought the story was going to change.
Oh my God!
We'd assign who did the story, and then we'd also leave notes as to who contributed credit-wise. That way, we could put them in the credit scroll.
That's another thing I'm really curious about with Twin. How much did you worry about like the timing of stories? Because one of the things that whole section for us was, how early can we record this segment and not be afraid that like it's going to change at the last second and we're going to have to re-record it?
I didn't care about timing for most things. Like, if it changes, it changes. That's fine. The only and like I can talk about it later with an update if it was important and mattered. The only thing that
I think it's healthier than what we do.
Yeah, it's much
healthier.
There have been multiple times where it's been like, Grim, it's Thursday, this thing changed, or Violet, it's Thursday, this thing changed. Can someone quickly please, just go record this? I'll like put it into the export like last second.
Show and you see those just like text splashes. That was me at like 11 o'clock at night on Thursday, being like, "This'll do. It's fine."
So I think something that I just realized is very different is it sounds like you guys record things ahead of time. We record on.
We try to.
Well, we record on Sunday night and we edit and we post on Monday at 9 a.m.
Right.
That's how we did it, which is why it was stressful.
I'll give you the rundown basically for us. So off week, we kind of see what's coming in and like what's going on, and we're just kind of pretending the news doesn't exist, taking our time to recoup. Then it gets to about Saturday or Sunday, the spreadsheet goes up with all of the current stories. People flag what they're interested in. Ideally, Monday, script writing starts and or is finished, in KT's case, often for themselves, ideally, emphasis on ideally. Tuesday, obviously, more stories have come in, so more scripting is done. Wednesday is like you have to get your stuff recorded this day. Please get your stuff recorded. Everything is then sent in. Thursday is editing day. Wednesday is also podcast recording day, usually.
Wednesday's podcast recording,
And then Thursday is like everything is dedicated to editing, getting thumbnails, tags, description, all that stuff. Episode goes live Friday. The other reason we give ourselves Thursday for editing is in case of a last minute story that's very important that we need to do a last minute change.
Is stressing me out right now. Remembering.
Episode goes live Friday at around I think noonish my time. Then we use Podbean to distribute to all the podcasting platforms. The podcast which is edited on Friday, on Saturday, and then Sunday it goes live on YouTube. And then we do it all again every other week.
Yeah. That is so many days. I just had one hell day.
We just noticed that progressively we've increased the amount of stories that we've carried to the point that it's just kind of required. Because sometimes you might have like 10, 20 half lengths and like 10 or 15 stories in a single episode. And then, you know, if there's like a guest host, it's 4 community crosshairs, intro, outro, bloopers reel, and then, it takes a whole week.
Please tell us it's worth it, audience.
I really hope so, because it is like all consuming.
Thanks. You want to come say that in the mic? No.
I don't think any of us could top Jang.
Jang would never accept
Jang.
No.
Jang was the best.
Yeah, no, he had a unique character for it.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I forgot as well. There's also fact checking. Lots of fact checking during this.
Checking.
There's a lot of that.
That's the real thing, right? We don't like doing, like you said, like doing the research is just like so. It's like we're so thankful for, you know, you had Michelle and eventually someone else that you brought on to help with the scripting. Right?
Yeah, we had our friend Danny come in, and basically all the money that Twin made, like the money that those videos made, that went to him, because he was putting in the most like mental effort into like getting the scripts done, and then I would, you know, review them, make sure that I 100% agreed with everything that was being said, and occasionally rewording things to be like my voice. But that worked out really well for a while.
And that's really the thing, I think, is just having a team of people. So even in your case where it's just you hosting, that there's multiple people involved in the process. Not all the weight is not on any one person.
Yeah.
And then to have a community, that's been the huge thing for us, is we absolutely rely on our community, our Discord. People who come to us, we get DMs from people about stories too, and like creators will like tell us something's coming up so that we know and we're not surprised by it.
That is so helpful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There've been a couple
if you
times
want people to cover your thing, tell them before you release it, please.
We've said this on the podcast a number of times. It's like, if all things were ideal, please upload your design if it's an episode week on Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah, if you
by absolute latest
explicitly-
Wednesday, to have really nice photos. If it's, I don't care so much about the background, but if the resolution and lighting is really good, chances are I'm probably going to pick it for the thumbnail because we have to have 2 blasters on the thumbnail.
Oh,
and it's
taking
so
good
hard.
Pictures, taking
It's-
good pictures.
I-
Don't put your feet in there.
Yeah,
put your feet
don't
in the
put your feet
picture.
in there.
If you take a video of your blaster, make sure the blaster's in the video. Just seeing the darts fly down the range doesn't tell us
Yeah,
anything.
like also please ensure, like again, on the thumbnail, it's an image so that way I can work with it. I cut them out by hand manually every single time. I cut out KT or whoever the person is manually every single time with the polygonal lasso tool by hand, pixel by pixel. I give them like a little bit of a beard shave and all the other little bits and babs.
No one else is doing it.
However nice the blaster is, please increase the resolution. It saves me so much time on making thumbnails on Thursday and saves me a whole lot of mental energy.
And it just makes your product look better.
Shout out to like Luke and Foam Mando. The 2 times that we had them on, they gave us like such high resolution with such a like bland background that it was
So
I could
quick.
get down to like the hair follicles on Luke's with his camera setup. It was so nice to cut out and it came out so clean.
Yeah.
It was such a time saver.
I wanted to ask you about this too. Another thing you mentioned in the first episode was that at the time, talking again about how little we actually want to like dig into stuff ourselves as we're prepping until we're sort of doing fact checking, right? It's like let someone else find the initial thing. You actually mentioned in the first one that Jangular's news videos were like the only video you regularly watched. And we've had a handful of creators tell us the same thing, that it's like it condenses so much into one place to have this kind of show. What do you think? I feel like that's a big part of what's important about a show like this existing. Was that part of your inspiration to kind of keep it going as well?
Yeah, I felt like it was important for that reason, because even when I want to look at all of the Facebook groups and look at Reddit and look at 10 different Discords and do all of that, like it's helpful to just have one source that I know can like pull the gold out of the goo and just be like, this is the thing that's really cool. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And when you don't have time to, like, if you get busy with work or school or whatever, and you want to know what's going on, it's nice to be like, okay, I can just take 10 minutes.
Right.
And now I know everything that's happened.
Yeah. And you were running a business and had a day job, right?
Yeah,
point?
we were running FoamBlast, and I'm a 3D artist at a video game studio.
I think this is like an important thing that like should probably be said. We've said this a couple times on the podcast, but like people think Nerf tubers make money. No, the show is like barely paying for itself right now.
We're extremely thankful for our
KT has his like
supporters.
day job and all of his other commitments. I have my health stuff. Vile has his things. FNC is largely it's funded
Honestly,
by the people.
we're lucky that it breaks as even as it does.
Yeah, like it
So-
wasn't that way at the start. There was a lot of upfront costs, but
Yeah. And like you said, you used whatever money Twin got to eventually pay one person to cover like some of their time.
Yeah, and it definitely, like, it was probably not a living wage.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just like, this is what we have.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of FoamBlast, who here bought stuff from FoamBlast back in the day? Yeah, same. We like as a hobby, we're lucky to even have the ability for a hobby this size to have how many like really great stores that we have or have had. Go thank a store owner, I guess, or buy something. But we covered the end of FoamBlast. We like started the show and like I think it was just about when we changed the name.
yeah, it was right around a similar time because we had a lot of people like saying how there was Coop, Bobo, FoamBlast.
Oh my god, it was like the 2 months where like everybody quit, like the whole old guard quit.
Being like friends with Bobo and then him being like, by the way, I'm leaving the hobby. It's cover my goodbye, and that's
I'm
just
leaving
like
the hobby and then I'm coming to End War.
I'm coming to End War still every year, but like, can you do my goodbye? And then getting the message, Your segment made me cry.
Grim, can you do my goodbye? Okay, KT, spend like an hour editing this segment, please, because here's like a million like.
Yeah,
Bobo
he's like, Bobo's like, I know you have the Bobo meme folder. Pick the best stuff. Send it to KT. Pick the best clips from the best videos. You'll know best. And then getting the DM that's like, your segment made me cry.
But
how many people do you think have a Bobo meme folder? Because I can think of several.
There's many. I know Silly Butts used to. If anyone remembers Bobo live streaming, I was one of the most regular viewers. I remember Silly Butts used to archive each and every one of them. So there's a number of people who have very vast Bobo meme folders. Mine is almost to a gigabyte, I think, at this point.
Well, so we got to do the Bobo goodbye segment. When Coop left, we used Coop's opening song as our opening song for that one time. And then we also did a segment like that for FoamBlast. And so we've given our sort of like quick outside perspective, but would you tell us your perspective about why, I know you've talked about this stuff before, but we want it on our podcast too. What was it that really led you to end that chapter of your life, and how's it going?
Well, I'll start out with how's it going. I thought that I would have more free time, but turns out when you stop doing one thing, you just immediately start doing another, 100%. And you end up with the same amount of zero time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. Someone should work on that.
You get into like I almost want to say the Nerf tubing like news thing gets you in almost like a workaholic mindset, and if there isn't something you're doing, you find something to do. Yeah. Like even in my break weeks, I'm finding something to do now, and I'm just like, this is supposed to be my off week. Oh shit, I'm completely like filled out to the brim with stuff to do.
Yeah, I put down this whole chunk of time that I was thinking into something, and I don't know where it went.
somewhere for sure.
What was the first part of the question?
Well, the first part
sorry.
of the question is just what led you to sort of move on to the next chapter in your life around then?
Yeah, I think most of it is when it comes to like the storefronts, it felt like we were getting to a point where most people were carrying the same things, you know. Worker really expanded their catalog, and everybody was picking that up. It seems like there's a lot less need for like just like this kind of spring or like a specialty motor, right, and that kind of thing.
Moving to larger products and...
Yeah, like moving to a lot more like drop-in kits and less general supplies, I guess. So it didn't feel good to be competing on that front with like Luke from Out of Darts and Ryan from Silver Fox. Like, they're my friends.
Yeah.
And like that's where a lot of the sales were, and those specific items are also so obnoxious to like just have on the shelves and deal with the inventory and like just handle.
So much.
I'll have to show you a photo when a worker order comes in.
Oh my God.
And it fills my entire living room.
I just saw the pictures. Vile had pictures of when the scared order came in. It was just like pallets of stuff.
I can tell you there was over almost 90 some boxes of scared gear just from the initial Kickstarter stuff. Not all of those were orders, mind you, but the minimum order quantities.
Yeah.
They have a warehouse, a small little space. It has an old school elevator, so like it's on a pulley system, right?
Oh God!
We're going to tell the story. We're going to tell the story. We're doing it live.
Go ahead.
So Ryan, love the man. He was like, all right, we're gonna load these. We're gonna load these onto the little pulley system, and we're gonna get ready to take them down one at a time because these boxes are way too heavy. He loads up what should be a normal sized load onto the pulley system. Lets go of the latch. It should descend as per normal. What instead happens is that the pulley system goes basically. It goes bye-bye. So Ryan is on the pulley system, and he starts free-falling with a bunch of scared gear boxes. And so Ryan could have died. What he decides to do at the very end, and he's like, time to find out if game mechanics works. So he does a little Destiny-style hop, and he's fine.
I have always wondered if that worked.
It
so
worked.
I'm
Apparently,
glad to
from a
know.
certain distance, game jump mechanics do work and will save your life. So Ryan was okay.
So if you backed the Scared Kickstarter, your equipment may have been
Maybe
involved
like
in
2.5, maybe 3. It's big staircase down is from a higher up building. So, anyways, almost everyone who worked on the scared gear had some kind of injury. I remember in my case, I was carrying boxes and we were trying to get orders because there were a lot of them, because everything was like down to the second that you had to do stuff, because the calendars, the stickers, the keychains, everything was hand manufactured that week on top of getting the orders. So I was down in the warehouse getting some order stuff, helping out. And I remember they have a lovely dog. Love this dog, Odin. He's the fluffiest best boy, but sometimes he's at the warehouse and he has a dog bed. I'm going into the stocking room. I'm turning a corner and I'm going as fast as I can because I've been packing. I slip, and then what instead happens, instead of falling, I instead turn at a 90-degree angle and fall, and with all of the weight of the scared gear and everything, I hit a corner of a wall right on the smallest, thinnest part of my bone, on right around here. Still hurts, nothing broke, but I couldn't feel my arm for the entirety of the time we were taking Charles back to the Seattle airport and back, basically.
What Grimz is saying is all of the potential pain has been absorbed already, and so when you get your scared gear,
there's nothing to be afraid of. All of the people who worked on Scared, so Charles, Jesse, Ryan, me, Ohio, we've all taken our fair share of dings. My hands were dyed black from the ink from all of the calendars.
Yeah.
The sacrifices have already been made.
My fingers were stuck together from the keychains.
You survived all of these big orders somehow.
Yeah. Well, the silver lining with the scared gear is you have it's just a few things. On our worker orders, we get all these huge boxes, and mixed in together is 200 different items, which I have to sort and count, and I have no idea what's going to be in each box.
That's awful.
And
their labeling isn't very good on the boxes.
It is not.
Well,
we print our own labels because theirs are awful.
And so you have to go through and relabel every single individual.
I want to say it was 2022 End War, and I was talking to Charles and Ryan was like, so is it worth taking on all this worker inventory? And then I just see Charles' eyes go wide, and he's like, whatever you do not sell worker stuff. It'll consume your soul. It'll consume your shop. It'll consume your life. You will carry everything, and it'll sit on your shelves for ages. And then Ryan was just like, okay. Not selling a bunch of worker stuff then.
Yeah, honestly, my advice for anybody starting a shop is make a cool thing that only you make, and make it really good, and don't resell worker stuff.
Yes. Yeah. It's good advice. That's the uniqueness. I mean, I think that's good advice for content creators, and for find a niche, find something that's unique to what you do and focus on that thing. And I think it's the same for a shop or being a designer as much as possible.
I think that's why FoamBlast was so fun at first, and that was because Michelle designed the drum springs, which nobody else was doing that, so that was really cool.
They got used in so many things. People would design all kinds of crazy.
People
magazines.
designed things around them, which was awesome. Because they're originally just a replacement spring to make your drums not suck anymore.
Right.
And people decided that they were worth doing other things with, and that's really, really cool, and so really cool. Satisfying and validating. And similarly with the motors, the ones that we made to start with, we made them because no one else was. And turns out that's a good idea, I guess.
Yeah. One last thing for me before we move on to questions from Ko-Fi, after which we'll be playing our hobby trivia game with our in-room giveaway. And then followed up with an audience Q&A. If anyone here has questions for any of the three of us, we'll have a chance for that as well. after all that, you survived all of that. You're here. You're playing this weekend, right?
On Sunday.
You're playing on Sunday, is what I meant. What place does foam flinging still hold in your life?
I mean, I don't do it a lot anymore, and I would like to play more because playing was always my favorite part.
Right.
Like modding is fun, but I've always felt like it was because I wanted to get on the field. Like I know a lot of people have fun just like plinking down their hallway, and I'm glad that people have fun doing that. I made a lot of money because people had fun doing that. But I really like playing, and I especially like playing more of the all ages style games and like forming a child army to do my bidding. Seriously, if you treat a kid like an adult and you give them a task, they will complete it, and all they need is a high five. It's great.
So it is so true. As long as they're not your kid. That's what I've learned.
That's true.
That's where it gets a little bit more.
Works differently. It works differently. So we have some fabulous people who back us on our Ko-Fi. Like we mentioned, the podcast just about breaks even with the things that we do now because of their generous donations. One of the benefits of backing the Ko-Fi is that you get to ask our podcast guest questions. I have a couple questions for you today from a couple of them. Ghost Armory asks, as the last one to bear the torch that is Nerf news, how have you seen the community around it grow, and what would you hope to see come out of it in the future?
I know when we stopped doing it, I got a lot of really kind comments saying that, like, even when people couldn't participate, they really felt like they could be in touch with what was going on, and they didn't feel left out or left behind. So they felt like they could come back in, when they had time again and not be like lost. And I thought I couldn't believe how many of those comments I got. So like that I think was the most like touching and fulfilling thing for me, just knowing that that's something people needed and that's something people got, and I'm glad that you guys are doing that for people now.
That's part of the goal. That's part of the goal.
That is the hope.
Colin, aka Go Taco, asks, what was your favorite addition to the Nerf news formula since you took over the mantle? What has been your favorite addition that FNC has added?
For me, I thought I had a pretty good theme song.
I loved it. Did you hear?
I personally loved it.
Did you hear
it was
that
great.
I covered it in our show?
No.
What? Go back and look at the. I think it's not the episode where we announced FoamBlast closing, but it was the episode where we announced the sale.
You had a ukulele in that one, or
something,
something, right?
I played it on ukulele and sang it with slightly
Nice.
altered lyrics. Yeah, obviously it lasted like 3 seconds because it's very short. But I loved that. I was very, very.
Yeah, I thought that was really
endearing
fun.
Part of the show, for sure. Well, and that was definitely part of why we, I think, ultimately decided to do background music on our show. Just the energy that brought and the outro music that you had, and I think we just went with something similar. Well, not stylistically similar, but
not stylistically similar, but having that background music kind of sets a fun and charming kind of vibe that just it gets you in the spirit that we're talking about toys. We're here to have fun while
talking
still
about
being
toys on the internet.
That's our favorite catchphrase. We're talking about toys on the internet.
I love talking about toys on the internet.
I love talking about toys on the internet.
I mean, that's still what I'm doing, but like instead of Nerf, now it's like minis and RPGs and board games.
I've had my fair share of fun with those. Those are big time consumers and very, very fun.
Yep. But as far as the like the changes that you guys have made, I love how you get community involved. You get guests on, and there's so many different voices to hear, and I think that that's really awesome. And I think in the first couple of videos that we had, we tried to do that to take some of the work off of our plates, but it was just so.
It doesn't make less work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And
I
that's
can
why
assure
it
you,
stopped happening.
Anytime there's a guest host, the workload does increase. It's not their fault. It's just the fact that we're very streamlined with working with just the 3 of us at this point in time.
And you know exactly what you need, and they don't because they haven't been there the whole time.
Right. And it's worth it to bring in the flavor, and it's worth it to
absolutely.
have specialists talk about specific topics. It's worth it to make Beret answer difficult trivia questions. but
I mean, jokes aside as well, I will say there have been definitely some guest hosts we've had that it's just been like, you were a joy to have on the show with how
absolutely.
you synergize. Like, first example that comes to mind is like Maritime Foam. Like,
so easy to work
so
with.
good.
So much
Bray
fun.
as well. You did excellent
Brett
both
is so
times.
good.
Love to have you on. It's just like having guest hosts on is such a fun thing. It's well worth the additional workload.
Yeah, and I just think it's so awesome that you guys have that, because it is hard to get people to commit to doing a thing and for them to show up and make it happen.
It's a big ask.
It's a lot.
It's a big ask, big time commitment for not much payoff. But I remember at the very least, and this is like one of the weird only things I have despite being the youngest of the hosts. I've been in the hobby for a hot minute, and I just remember when I was a kid, at the very least, because that's how long it's been at this point, that my favorite thing was anytime I saw my favorite YouTubers, Nerf tubers, so it would be like you guys, and then all of a sudden Bobo's on screen, or you'd have Walcom on screen, or you'd have someone who's like, oh my god, they're all hanging out, they're collaborating, they're working together, this is a community, it's actually a community. And that was one of my personal favorite things. It's very hard to pull off, but when it happened, it was very cool.
I still rewatch our like announcement advertisement thing for Fang Revamped sometimes, just because there's so many people involved in that video, and I love them all so much, and they made it so funny.
Oh yeah.
And it just, that was so much fun to make.
Something about torque.
Yeah. And then I think we made Jangular say mansplaining, which was so funny.
That's incredible. Okay. Well, it's that time. For anyone that's familiar with the podcast, it is time for our increasingly notorious hobby trivia game. How are y'all feeling about that? What? Maybe.
Maybe.
There's a 1 out of 3 chance that it's B.
I see Beret preparing to like throw things up here.
Maybe you can toss a cap into the ring.
We've prepared a game for you, which we're calling Twin, which stands for The World Includes Nitro, because that is one of the ammo types of all time.
Oh no. I own so many Nitro Blasters. You know how many of their names I know? None. My cats love chasing those cars, though.
It's the long shot. We don't have enough blasters called long shot, right? So we have 3 trivia questions. For each one that you get right, someone in the room will actually get a real physical actual prize. I will be giving whoever is picked here, if it's correct, a t-shirt, as well as one of these handmade Foam News Collective pennants that my wife made. Cheers for my wife. They're pretty sick. And if you're able to get the question right, why don't we do this?
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Grim, why don't you read the first one? Brett, would you be interested in reading a question for Addy? Sure. All right. I'll have Brett read the second question, and then I'll read the third one.
All right. Question number
hold
1.
on, I got to draw the person first so that there's like tension in the room. Oh, this one popped out of the thing.
It's been chosen by fate.
Last 3 digits, 416.
These are different from the Flux.
All right. It's a different ticket. They don't say Flux on the back. Also, the number won't overlap because it's from the same roll. So.
I'll take one.
Oh yeah, does anyone not have it? Okay. This one, I already picked that one. 416, it was you. Okay.
Last call for a rattle tape.
There it is. Okay, sick. Thank you. All right. So, we'll pop that in there for the next 2. And we'll go ahead with 416. Good luck.
All right, question number 1. The Nerf doing it live. The Nerf Nitro line launched in 2017 with much fanfare. In a press release at launch, Hasbro claimed that the line was based on how many years of research focused on both Nerf and vehicle fans? Is it A, 2, B, 4, or is it C, 7?
Is this just how long it was researched?
How long they claim that they researched in their press release.
Oh, they claim whatever the biggest number was.
Right.
7.
Why? Do you think they worked that hard?
No.
What do you think? What do you think
I think the truthful answer is probably 2, but
We'll go with that. We'll go with A.
You're correct.
Congratulations. 416, you win.
I'll get the physical prizes to you at the end.
As for the full quote, hitting shelves globally in 2017 with distinctive design and stimulating play experiences based of 2 years of research focused on both Nerf and vehicle fans, the performance-based Nerf Nitro line is racing on to the vehicle scene as the only Nerf brand can, bringing with it all the thrill of speed, jumps, tricks, and adrenaline-fueled action.
wait, they called it performance-based?
Yes.
Yes.
They did.
That's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes, they did.
Amazing.
Performance.
I really want to know what research focused on both Nerf and vehicle fans looks like. I really want to know what that focus group looks like. Do you have like a bunch of like truck dudes in the same room as a bunch of like 12-year-olds and you're asking them the same questions?
I think it looks like my cat's racing across the living room floor after a little foam car.
I can tell you at the very least the research group for the dog ball launchers was successful because I know Odin loves shooting the Silver Fox Industry stress balls out of them and chasing them. That's his thing that he likes quite a bit.
Oh my God. Okay. Can we please get our special guest question reader up? Beret, do you want to come up here and read this one?
Hi, Bray.
It's empty. Am I speaking into both?
No, just use this one. Use this one.
No, but I'm in your spot.
You're starting there.
Yeah.
You can change that to I if you want.
This was planned. Audio check. Ever since Beret ran a Nitro Moto Fury and I'd run that in a war too, which was an excellent video that you should totally watch, legions of foam flingers have wanted to field a Nitro Blaster in games. But the perfect Nitro Blaster has remained elusive. Which of the following shell types is supposed to fire modified Nitro cars? Is it A, silly shells? Is it B, Spring Thunder shells? Or is it C, Sobek 2.0 shells? What? Really?
I feel like this is something Silly would do. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Silly. He's a weird guy.
He is a pretty weird guy. It's true. Have you played with a silly shell yet?
No, I haven't.
What?
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm just yelling into the room.
We can share these things.
That's true, I suppose.
Good share.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't pull a thing. I'm sorry. I'm a doofus. We're gonna go with here. You want to pull one? What is it?
It is 422.
Who's 422? Hey. Oh wait, is it you? No. Okay. 422. A couple of people left, so that. Okay. Oh really?
They're being watched. Some are being watched.
Okay. You have to be in the room to win. So put that
All
one
right,
aside.
no 422. How about 421? Yeah.
Hey. Okay. All right. Anyway.
I'll try not to let you down.
So I will hint to you though that this is they're supposed to fire them,
But they don't.
but they don't for a very specific reason.
Is it because they're little foam cars and not cars?
It might be because you can't get that shell really. So the options are silly shells, Spring Thunder shells, and Sobek 2.0 shells. Does the audience want to
What?
give hints? Is that where we're at?
What is a Sobek?
Was that the
Oh, did you say Sobek? You are 100% correct. It is the Sobek 2.0.
Sobek 2.0 is a shotgun that was supposed to replace the Spring Thunder made by a different designer that basically never came out. It was around the time you were around the hobby.
Thank you, Brett.
It's still in prototype. So
I mean, it might still come, and then I can shoot cars.
It might.
It might.
And like, I want to shoot nitro cars with the wheels removed. I think that sounds dope. But will it? I don't know.
Will it? That is always the question.
Okay. We are 2-0 so far.
I appreciate the training wheels, guys.
That's how we roll
We're
here.
bowling with bumpers.
That's how we roll. Get it? Wheels, roll. Okay.
The tip is that we actually want everyone to win.
4, 2, 3. All right. I put the ticket back in. I didn't mean to do that. You ready for your last question?
I don't know about that. We're going to try.
A young actress who appeared uncredited in a 2017 Nerf Nitro stunt car blasters spot also appeared the previous year in Yulin Kwang's Tiny Feminists, a 3-episode TV series. Appearing alongside her was another up-and-coming actress who around the same time appeared in a number of Nerf battle-style YouTube videos, such as Node's Nerf Rainbow Six Siege Defend the House and Nerf Metal Gear Solid Lady Snake, as well as Corridor Crew's Nerf Girl Ambushes Studio. Who is that actress? Is it A, Kristen Ritter, B, Anna Akana, or C, Tawny Newsome?
I don't know if I've heard of any of these names in my life.
That's usually how question 3 goes. I leave it to KT to make the third one the most obscure usually.
I don't know who these people are.
Do you know? Are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah, I like Star Trek.
Tawny Newsome is in Lower Decks. That's C. And Kristen Ritter was in Breaking Bad briefly. And when was Breaking Bad? It was a long time ago now, right? It's like...
Been a minute.
Yeah. But it was before 2017, right? Yeah. So she was
Must have
pretty
been.
big. She was
I
pretty
wonder
big
what
already.
the answer could be.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So A, Kristen Ritter. B, Anna Akana. C, Tawny Newsome.
Is it B?
It is
It's
B.
B! Congratulations! What could it be? The answer is B.
Oh my God.
Congratulations for winning.
So
I just channeled my inner bird.
Yeah, no, Anna Akana is she's a stand-up comedian, actor. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's done a lot of voice acting for cartoons and stuff too. But she did a whole bunch of those like Nerf battle style videos with a bunch of different video groups in I think LA based. So congratulations.
I think Corridor Crew was the only one of those that I actually watched.
Yeah.
And even then, like, only the, like, reactions to bad CGI.
Yeah.
Who brought up Corridor Crew today? Oh no, we were talking with Out of Darts Luke, and he mentioned Corridor Crew because I think that they were like that would be a group for us to like collaborate.
I
with
just
on videos
remember
again.
Corridor Crew and like whoever that one guy was that always made the surprised face, and he'd have like the world's most dangerous thing. It'd be like a fidget spinner with like knives on it, and anytime you tried to search for Nerf blasters, the YouTube algorithm would recommend them to you, and it's like, I would like to watch Addy from FoamBlast. I would not like to watch this, please. Please get it right. And then I'd put do not recommend eventually until I would get Addy from FoamBlast or Bobo or insert other YouTuber here.
Did you know that I juggle and I have juggled knives?
No, I did not. That is a cool new fact to know.
That's sick. I did not know that. That's awesome.
It was. It's weird because it was easier to find you guys back when you were smaller. Because like I first found you with the drum spring installation video where it's like in your pajamas in like a chair randomly. It was just a random YouTube recommended. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to pin that for later. And then next time I checked the channel, I was like, holy crap, they do a lot of stuff now.
Yeah, I think that was one of our first videos. I think our very first video was showing off Michelle's double stage Hailfire. It was probably one of the earliest dual stage blasters because she was trying to prove a point. No one believed the chrono numbers, so we took a video like very explicitly, like this is what the numbers are.
Oh,
and
I
it's
remember
real.
that. Yeah, it was very interesting because I didn't
People
know.
on the internet never believe you.
No,
they
no,
don't.
no, they don't. Like
have to
Vile's
prove it.
200-ish FPS N1. What's the Blaster Infinite?
That
right?
was such a. I think it was. Or no,
It's
no.
like 190-ish
The-
FPS.
What is the loopy?
That is the Infinite, I think.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
But I don't know.
I think
Just-
that
it
was
was-
like 2015 or 2016.
It
or
was somewhere in
something,
there
and
because that's
someone
around the
had-
time I entered the hobby more.
Yeah, someone had said that we've already reached the ceiling of flywheels and we can't go any higher.
I remember the R-Nerf threads
You
where
know
you'd
who
see
you
people,
are.
or not R-Nerf, but
It's like
the
people.
Nerf.
It's like people when cars were Model Ts saying like if anyone ever goes over 50 miles an hour they'll die.
Yeah, I remember the like Nerf Haven post where you'd have like all this theory crafted math with like long lists and like animations of like this is the projected ceiling of what we can do, and then someone would come out and do something different. See, for the longest time, I didn't know that you and Michelle were actually working on stuff together because I knew Michelle because Michelle had sourced the Michelle motors, which Bobo had pointed out, and all their work on the motor stuff. I know you from the drum spring videos and some other random stuff, and then I was like, oh wait, they're both in the same place, and they spent like a whole bunch of time researching and making motors not sucky anymore. Hooray, we're out of the dark ages. That was, FoamBlast was a thing. That was just kind of my experience with it was.
And
Yeah,
cheers
we
for that.
don't like being told that we're wrong. So that's why we have good motors now. You're welcome.
Yes.
I would say that was like one of the like notable qualities was devotion to both the hobby and proving that something was correct was definitely a very FoamBlast trait that I remember.
So, it is now time, since we have the really rare and exciting experience of being in the room with other humans who are listening to us record, for a Q&A section. If there's folks in the room who have questions, we can either just shout them out or we can hand a microphone forward. For any of the three of us, welcome to ask. If anybody does, if you don't, I mean, it's chill. We can just, oh, hey, there's a chronograph coming in the room.
Suddenly chronograph.
Hello. Does anybody have questions? It's chill. No? Aw. All right,
well.
I guess I'll just go home.
I love you anyway.
Yeah, we love you anyway. It's all good. Okay.
What was your first like memorable big mod? What you would consider to be a big mod?
Oh. Well, yeah, thank you. Question was, what was your first memorable big mod? Graham, you got an answer? You want to start?
Oh.
Addy, you got an answer? You want to start?
I want to say, because like, I was a kid who didn't have very much money, so I was just kind of like, I'd watch people do stuff, and then I'd find the shops and then pen all the stuff. Like, that's how I found out about Containment Crew, for example. It'd be like, oh, they have quick 16 springs, or at the time I thought flywheels were specific to a specific blaster. I told Charles this while we were packing SCRD gear. I found you guys because I was looking for ECS-10 flywheels, and the Blaster Parts flywheels showed up. I was like, this small shop knows what's up, or whatever. But my first big mod, because outside of air restrictor mods and other things like that that broke blasters in progress, I think the first big one was I gutted my Exploder blaster that I got back in like 09 or whatever, and then I put it in a long shot, didn't realize I needed to cut the spring down, and I didn't want to put the bolt back on all the way so that way I didn't have to undo all my work. I lost the stock, so I would have to prime it with all the force that young 4'11", 60-pound, like 7th grade me had to prime it and then push it forward. And it wouldn't even always catch all the time because I hadn't cut the spring to the right length. But that Exploder spring would get the full length dart to hit 100 FPS. And to me, little me, that was mind-blowing.
That's incredible. One of my first mods that I did, and it's not a big mod, it's a little unorthodox because, my YouTube channel was originally focused around communicating with parents specifically. So I had a very kid-oriented approach to it. one of my kids was really, really in love with a specific blaster, and he could not prime it. And so it was what was it? It was one of those Dart Zone. It's the one that has the four round like drums and a drum of drums, and they like rotate, and it does all 4 shots, and then it rotates again. And I opened that thing up, and I downgraded the spring so that he could prime it, and it was hard because that thing is weird inside, and like the way the drum holds in is really weird,
are you
and so it's
talking
like
about
difficult to get it closed up.
The Busby one?
No, I did specifically a Dart Zone one.
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't remember what you're talking about.
But it's not. It's like obscure, stupid blaster. I thrifted
Okay.
it. Who knows?
Okay.
It wasn't a big thing. I mean, like the biggest and the first thing that made me like really aha moment was building a skewer that I printed myself. That there's a video about that because I did that, and then I also printed another one, and my at the time 10-year-old built it, and that was like one of the first things that was like, I was already in the hobby at that point, but that was a thing that was like a really big aha moment for me. I'll never forget that experience.
I think the most memorable for me, like, it wasn't even a mod. It was just a paint job. But
That's a mod. You modified it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Michelle had been like watching the hobby kind of, and I don't think she'd really done much with it yet at that point, but I think she wanted to like actually take a step in. So she was like, "Hey, how about we go to Big Lots and get some blasters?" So we came home. I got a rough cut, and I think she got a Maverick. And we painted them together, and it was really nice, and it was really fun. And I think I brought that blaster to my very first game, which was the first End War.
That's sick. I mean, it really is about the people and the experience with the people, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably my most memorable mod, just because like I was spending time with her, and it was nice.
That's wonderful.
Aww.
And it was like the start of it for you.
Yeah,
some
yeah.
ways,
I hadn't even given the hobby a second look yet at that point, and it was really cool.
That's wonderful. I love that. Oh. Anyone else got anything? Oh, there we go.
Have you looked at him? Doesn't it seem fun?
Part of it, though, if I'm sure you've heard Brett's episode on the podcast. Yeah, okay, that's why he's a target.
It's a target because it was a very funny reaction. I still feel bad every time we poke a little fun at him.
Oh, I don't feel bad at all.
But
I feel
hope Brett
like
knows
we're
that
gonna
I
get a
really
lot of
appreciate it and
listens
love
on
the dude. But
I mean,
it's very funny.
it's all with love. I love
It
you,
is
Brett.
with the most love. Yes.
I've tampered in all of your videos, every this week in Nerf and since.
It's true. It's true. It's true, actually. Good question, though. Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, I'd like to apologize to Brett for shutting down FoamBlast, because now you don't have any contact with the customer support dinosaur anymore, and I know that breaks your heart.
I
No, I don't think
at
you
least
have to. I don't
remember.
think you have
I
to.
do remember.
Yeah. No, I
The
think
real
I'm sorry
ones
for your
remember.
loss.
if you want to know what that's about, you just got to do your own research. Any other final questions? No? Okay, sick. Thank you. Huge. First of all, do you have anything you'd like to plug, Addy? Thank you so much for being here with us. You can just say no. You can literally just say like, nah, don't find me online.
Wow. I think this is like the first time I've done a thing, and no, I don't have anything to plug. It's
Yeah.
pretty great, actually.
I mean, I guess I will say, like, if you are listening to this and you're a Foam News Collective viewer or listener, and you haven't seen episodes of Twin, either on Jangular's channel or on the FoamBlast channel, it's worth going back and checking some out. Just skim them and look for one that has like things in the topic in the subject that sound interesting to you, just to get a sense of the history and kind of get a sense of where FNC came from and what we were watching that made us want to do the news.
I guess the like educational videos are still relevant, like the
also
FoamBlast
true.
Fast ones on motors and batteries and that kind of thing. Like all that information is still true. It's just some of the products that we
Right.
may talk about may or may not exist or be relevant anymore.
Well, and one of the things about one of the things about having a news show like this that runs consistently is you are also creating an archive of the life of the hobby. Like each episode is a snapshot of what was going on in the hobby that week. And I always think about that when we're producing an episode. Like getting facts important is right. Getting stories in is important, because getting facts important is right, is what I just said. That's great. It's important because you're also creating a record of what's going on at any particular time. So like if you're ever like, I wonder what was happening in the hobby in 2018, like February 7th of 2018, you can look up an episode of Twin and find out what that is. So definitely go back and check out a bunch of that stuff. I want to shout out that Vile is streaming. He's not here, obviously, but this month is October, which means he's supporting the Boobtober fundraiser, benefiting breast cancer research. So go check out Vile_mods on Twitch and consider donating to that thing. There are some raffles there. There's a bunch of blaster mods and stuff. And on the overall thing, because there's multiple streamers participating in it, I'm actually donating a free song commission for someone who might, maybe if you're starting a YouTube channel, you want your own original music. Will write an original piece of music for you if you win that raffle, and that you can just use forever whenever you want to. So yeah, check out Vile's stream, support breast cancer research. Huge thank yous to the entire Ragfest crew. I hope everyone has the most amazing time at Ragfest. Thank you, Casual Felon, Fish, J-Mom, Pandemonium, Xbox Games, again, for providing this room. Really excited to be able to do this here. Thank you, of course, so much to our listeners at home. And thank you to our studio audience. Big round of applause for yourselves. Thank you for being here. And have an incredible time.
Bye, everybody.
This is the music for a different segment. Have a great time at Ragfest. See you all in the field.
Just have some fun. We'll see you there.